Like smacking your head? Like smacking my head? Okay, I get that was bad and your control issues are more sense. But have you ever tried to control your magic instead of controlling yourself? Huh? Think about it. You have weird magic. Fine. Besides that, you have strong weird magic. Have how you've dealt with it, is it to clamp down major control over everything else in your life? But maybe all you have to do is take control of your magic. You know, show it who's the boss and make it act right. Summer shook her head. You're nuts. I'm just saying discipline can be a good thing. Sure, for someone who is comfortable with it, Summer said. So get comfortable with it. Easier said than done. Maybe you just need the right incentive, Jenny said. Want me to give you a quick dominatrix lesson or 12? It'd be fun. Thanks, but no thanks. I think I just bumble along as I am, which means no helpful magic spells from you or anyone else, okay? Jenny held up her hand like she was taking an oath. Promise. Then she added, guess it looks like you're going to have to get a handle on your Uber control issues and your bizarre magic. Summer sighed. Sadly, it looks like it. Well, never fear. You have a certified discipline nymph on your side. Plus, Kenny Benny may surprise both of us and take forceful control on your date tonight and ravish you properly. Jenny giggled and then, at Summer's frown, cleared her throat and sobered up. The bus lurched to an awkward halt in front of dark shadows, mysterious only art gallery. But before anyone gets ravished, we will edify and educate the masses. She winked at Summer, stood up, smoothed her hair, and faced the bus full of teenagers. Touch anything, and you will have to deal with me. Before school, in the boys' restroom, with a toothbrush and a can of Comet and a collection of Shakespearean sonnets. What are the poems for? Whispered a voice from the silent staring students. To clean your mind out while your gloveless hands, clean out the urinals, Jenny said sweetly. She turned around and, to a chorus of gargling sounds from the students, grinned at Summer. Let's go, shall we? Jenny sashayed from the bus, leading the way into the gallery with Summer and well-disciplined students following close behind her. Summer thought entering the gallery was like leaving one world for another. Inside the spacious building, it was cool and dark. Even from the foyer, she could see that instead of unusual plain white expanse of gallery walls, dark shadows had been painted in unyielding black, brown, only by spotlights trained on each painting, so that the entire exhibit gave the impression of floating dreams, poised on the surface of a dark, sleeping sea. Wow, it's been years since I've been here, and I'd forgotten how dramatic the black walls make this place. Summer told Jenny in a hushed voice. Yeah, Barnabas told me that he hadn't planned the effect. He'd painted everything black only because it's easier on his vampire sense. The weirdness of it was just a happy byproduct. Well, vampires gross me out with their definitely non-vegan diet. But there's something about this place that I like, even if it's a little creepy. And, ladies, how may I help you? At the sound of the deep voice, Summer jumped guiltily and looked up, and up, and up into the face of a god of a man. He was standing just inside the shadowy entrance of the gallery, and even though it was dark and cool within, he was wearing mirrored sunglasses, and she blinked at her own reflection in those glasses. The man slowly reached out and removed them, revealing eyes so dark they looked black. His gaze locked with hers. Gorgeous, dark, dangerous were the descriptive words that flitted through her mind. You are not Barnabas, she said abruptly. One black brow lifted. Astute observation, ma'am. Oh, you must be Colin, Barnabas's older brother. Tell me I'm right, handsome, Jenny demanded, flipping her hair coquettishly. You are right. His eyes sparkled playfully when he turned to Jenny. And you must be a certified disciplined nymph. Smart and handsome, my second favorite combination, Jenny said. Your first favorite? Colin asked with a sexy smile. Smart, handsome, and bound by the rest, Jenny said. Summer felt the urge to roll her eyes. Instead, she cleared her throat and said, High school field trip. Students, right behind us, remember? Jenny shrugged, barely glancing at the wide-eyed students. I'm just being friendly, but you are right. We should get down to business. The power in her voice said that she'd rather go down on Colin than get down with other business. Summer frowned at Jenny and then stuck her hand out to Colin. Hello, I'm Miss Smith. I sent the email several days ago, reserving the gallery for the field trip this morning. I'm assuming that's still okay, even though your brother isn't here. Colin took her hand in his, and Summer had to force herself not to gasp. His grip was strong, but she'd expected that. He was, after all, a very big man, who had very big hands. It was the temperature of his skin that shocked her. Being touched by him was like being touched by an hulking statue. His hand was smooth, hard, and cool. Their eyes met again, and Summer was jolted by the dark intensity with which he was studying her, as if she was, at that moment, the most important thing in his universe. She'd only known one species of mysterious creature who can spare someone with such intensity and whose skin felt molded marble, who felt like molded marble. You are a vampire, she blurted, pulling her hand free of his fine, firm grip. His smile was slow and knowing, not in the least bit ruffled by her statement. I am. Both of my brothers and I are vampires. It runs in the family, you know, he said smoothly. Does it? Summer made herself not wipe her tingling palm down the side of her slack. It does when you are all bitten by the same master vampire, he said. Summer noticed that when he spoke to her, the playful sparkle that Jenny seemed to automatically evoke in his eyes changed, darkened, and even though he was no longer touching her, he was still studying her with the uncomfortable intensity. Feeling weirdly lightheaded, Summer spoke more briskly than she intended. That's interesting. Maybe we can talk about it later. Right now, I think we should start our field trip, if that's okay with you. Or your brother. Is Barnabas really not here? Colin cocked his head and looked down at her, a small curve of amusement shadowing his full lips. Barnabas is in Paris, drowning himself in wine and young freshman, so that he can't forget being jilted by a hunter knight. The vampire shrugged out of his broad shoulders. Foolish of him to become so obsessed with a straight guy. I tried to tell Barnabas that hunters as gay as I am. Which is to say, not at all, Jenny chimed in. Colin's grin was almost a leer. He answered Jenny, but his eyes stayed on Summer. Yes, ma'am, you are right about that. So does that mean the field trip is off? Summer said, wondering why Jenny's flirting with Colin should annoy her. Not at all. The reason I moved to town temporarily from my ranch is because Barnabas asked me to babysit this special exhibit. The field trip is definitely on. Besides, you just got here, Miss Smith. I'd hate for you to leave until we've gotten to know each other better. Colin's dark eyes trapped her gaze and she felt her breathing deepen. Is he making me dizzy? Is he working in vampire mojo on me? Summer mentally shook herself. She was being ridiculous. Magic didn't work on her, or if it did, it went way wrong. Her overactive imagination and hormones were the only thing working on her. What was probably happening was she was displacing her excitement about the impending dream date with Ken. No way. Was she interested in this vampire? He definitely didn't fit in with her well thought out plan for the future. Excellent, let's get started. The students have really been looking forward to this field trip. She lied. I hadn't been thinking much about this field trip at all. Colin lowered his voice so that it seemed to brush against Summer's skin. At least, not until I saw who was leading it. Now I do believe it's going to be a very interesting experience. It is good to meet you, Miss Smith. He tipped an imaginary hat to her in a cowboy-like move that appeared to be second nature to him. Then he raised his voice so that the waiting students could hear. Come on in and check out the art. And yes, there are some nudes. There were spontaneous high fives given in response as the students filed into the gallery. Ladies, if you follow me, I'll give you a more personal tour, Colin said. Though he spoke to both women, his eyes rested on Summer's face hungrily. He strode into the main gallery, giving Summer plenty of time to take in the faded jeans that snugged his firm ass and the broad shoulders that strained the fabric of the black long-sleeve shirt he wore. And were those cowboy boots on a vampire? Sweet goddess, Gay Barnabas's brother was a sexy cowboy vampire. Damn, Summer, are you secreting some kind of come fuck me hormone? Tall, dark, and vampire is clearly hitting on you. Summer pulled her eyes from Colin's muscular body and managed to scoff. Oh, please, I'm not interested in him. Really? That's not what your nipples are saying. Better check your control, girlfriend. Horrified, Summer glanced down to see the outline of her very obviously aroused nipples pressing against her cream-colored blouse. Hastily, she crossed her hands over her chest and muttered, It's just cold in here, as she hurried into the gallery with Jenny, knowing laughter following her.